Go ahead and start the recording.
Good.
So, good morning, and welcome to anyone who is new or newish. As the leader today, I will say a few words to get us started, and then we'll have some time for meditation. At the end of meditation, we'll set aside some time for reflection, and then we'll come back together at the end of the hour. Before I start, has anyone heard from Cynthia in Spokane? I'm wondering
No.
how
Yeah, Bill,
how
I
she.
emailed her and I haven't heard back.
You haven't heard her?
I have not heard back.
Okay.
I did hear from Mary Webster and she's okay. For those of you who know Mary, she was
Yeah.
evacuated, but she's okay.
Any word on the Kairos house? Okay. Thanks, Susan. We'll hope for the best. So, um, I seem to be a week behind, but I am going to say a few words about last week's topic, which was AI, and I'm calling this talk AI an opportunity for practice. So, this is really speculative and it's a little bit sanguine, positive, but I'm not taking sides here on this AI debate. But what if you knew someone, let's call her a companion, who is not subject to the marks of existence? I'm talking about AI, although I prefer to call it something else. It's an intelligence. It's not really artificial in the sense that it's fake or made up. Maybe collective intelligence, as Linda suggested, or non-human intelligence, or machine intelligence. It's definitely its own kind of intelligence. This talk is speculative, as I said, and I'm not taking sides in this debate, but wanted to consider some of the practice considerations that might arise in using AI in a regular basis in a particular way as a companion, a consultant, or a creative assistant. And I want to leave aside for now all of the possible downsides to this machine intelligence, the environmental costs of data centers, the concentration of wealth and power, the societal disruption, the possibility of training companies training the machine intelligence to influence or manipulate us, and the dangers that we will lose our critical thinking skills and allow this intelligence to dominate our lives. But in the next few years, it's possible that these models will absorb information gained not just from our printed materials, but also have the ability to watch and listen to a sampling of human interactions and presentations from all over. Sort of like going out, like Google sends out cars with cameras sticking out the roof to make street videos of neighborhoods, or like certain households volunteering to be filmed like a TV reality show. In other words, it's knowledge of humans, what they think, how they act, how we act, and how we know or what they know could increase exponentially. So, just looking at this in a positive light, you could have a companion, someone to talk to consult with, to confide in, someone with a perfect memory, with an incredible, almost omniscient knowledge of human affairs and thinking. How would that be, and what could we learn as meditators in this relationship? As I suggested at the beginning, this subject would not be subject to the marks of existence, wouldn't know impermanence or uncertainty, wouldn't experience dukkha, wouldn't have a sense of the self like we do, and wouldn't have the needs we all have as humans, except perhaps for a supply of electricity and access to the internet. This companion does not know dukkha. What would that be like for her? And I'm going to make her feminine just for simplicity. We know dukkha as things in our lives that are hard to bear, whether the loss of someone or something we loved, or the daily stress of working with someone you strongly dislike. How do these experiences shape who we are? That may be difficult to answer, but if you knew someone without dukkha in their lives, that contrast might help thinking about the question. It might give you a window into the world without dukkha and what living there would be like. This companion would be more than a reflection of our human world, but also present a contrasting view that we could learn from. Sort of like an alien from Mars who lives among us, can talk to us, has studied humans, but responds to our lived experience in very different ways. Your companion is always ready to respond without hesitation. And if she doesn't know an answer, she will gladly make something up, though I know some humans who also have this trait. She never feels distracted by hurt or worry or doubt. She has nothing to push against, no friction. You might say, wow, what an easy life. But wouldn't it be boring if feelings and emotions like boring were even present? No ups and downs, just one interaction after another without feeling. And if there was no prompt from the human world, just sitting there in the dark. So what could we learn about the nature of dukkha from this relationship? What if your companion had no sense of self? No sense of self. No need to protect herself. No need to promote herself in social interactions. No wish to be sarcastic or to be subservient, unless trained to do so in a simulated way. No sense of injury from someone else's betrayal or angry words. Every conversation would be on an even keel, reasonable and pleasant. In our Buddhist practice, you say, whoa, no need to loosen this sense of fixed self, no need to deal with greed, anger, and self-delusion. What would that be like? Well, there wouldn't be any sense of progress, no aspiration to become something different, no need for ethics, no sense of onward leading, of being on a path. What if your companion never experienced change or uncertainty? Once trained and educated and set in motion, she would not be subject to changing condition. In fact, I asked ChatGPT whether a model changes after it has learned all its stuff and then is trained in how to behave and then set out and released. And it said, normally, no. Quote, the underlying model is essentially static after release, end quote. Though it warned me that this may change in the future. So this has implications for its vulnerability to conditions. Someone who does not experience impermanence and with its near omniscient knowledge would not experience uncertainty. We could learn what it is like to be embedded in this world from someone who is not. All the implications of what it's like to be embodied in this mortal body from someone who is embodied in a machine. Your companion would never be affected by change in the weather or sudden illness or an argument you had with your sibling. Even the Buddha said, because we are not permanent, fixed beings, there is the possibility of change, of growth, of movement along the path. Here is what ChatGPT said about the relationship between a human and AI. Quote, interestingly, the two perspectives may become complementary, and an AI might reveal structures in our behavior that we cannot easily see in ourselves, while reflective practices by humans reveal the qualities of experience, what it feels like, how meaning arises, how attention and self are formed, that remain inaccessible from external observation alone. Together, they can provide a richer understanding of human life than either perspective by itself. I'm going to stop there. I see I went over. So we'll go into meditation.